pretty much just gave you like an overview, like jiu-jitsu business. I
Sure.
feel like you could just, I feel like I don't have to ask you any questions. I can just let you talk and like, just, we just want to pick your brain on like, is it worth opening a jiu-jitsu business? Like, I'm sure you've seen successful businesses and then also like the opposite, like,
I have actually seen successful jujitsu businesses that shouldn't have been successful jujitsu businesses. Sometimes, point in case, you have to have talent first and foremost, and not to own the business, in my opinion, but to have a successful business, you need someone talented that can teach, can run classes, and can build rapport with the students. The business owner has to be just that, a business owner. What I have seen through my 20 something years of watching this and helping out on some marketing and doing some stuff for different people, the most successful ones I've seen are not the best in, like, I would say, quasi instructors, right? They're people who actually understand that this is a business and we have to pay bills. And in a way, you can run it, and it should be run like any basic gym. Like so first and foremost, it's got to be clean, right? Cleanliness is a big thing. And I mean, think about it. You go into LA Fitness, you go into any like gym where there's just weights and stuff. There's a big focus on, is the locker room clean? Are the restrooms always clean? Are these always clean? Cleanliness is a big thing. And you know yourself, you train long enough that you get in some of these gyms, they don't even clean well enough, or they don't talk about the need for cleanliness on the mat with, especially new guys, like in their 20s. You remember that crap? You remember 15 years ago, however long ago.
We didn't clean the
Oh my God.
mats. People didn't shower.
No, I mean, you had 20-year-olds that would train at lunch and throw that nasty gi in the back of their trunk and come in at night and put it right back. Oh my God, and put it right back on, right? And it's like, I mean, some of these things was just a problem, but the business has evolved as I am seeing it, and it needs to change. I think you need a business owner and then a great instructor. And I think more importantly, you've got to rotate instructors. You've got to have several great instructors. What we do not do a good job of here, at least locally, in my opinion, we do not grow up. We do not invest within the actual gym to grow up our own instructors. We like to go out for them, right? We like to go to, Brazil or something like that and ring in some new guy that no one knows, which is fine. I want opportunities for those guys too, but we do not do a good job of building up our instructors from the inside out, frankly, because everyone's in the mindset of scarcity in this business and I don't really see it in other businesses that I deal with, but in the gym business, they have a mind frame of scarcity, meaning, well, if I train up somebody under me, they'll take my job and then I won't have a job. Well, it's actually the job of the business owner to increase the number of schools you have so that as you grow up instructors up underneath you, you can actually put those instructors in other school and pay them a livable wage. A lot of the reason that we run into the problem that we have in gyms and martial arts centers is because we don't pay instructors up underneath the main instructor a livable wage. So what happens is they wind up building in their little clique, which you and I have seen it so many times. They build their little clique and then they think, well, I'm a great instructor, I'll just start my own business. So they move down the road 12 or 15 miles. Sometimes they get way out and that's fine. And they start their gym. But they don't understand that it's a business. You can't just take your little clique with you and start your bit and expect to be highly profitable or very successful, because most of these things fail in 3 to 5 years because the cost they don't understand all the things that come along with it. They don't understand Instagram. They don't understand social media marketing. They don't have anybody doing that for them. And more importantly, like in some places that I had dealings with, they don't understand sales as a principle. It's just, well, I like this guy and I like that guy and oh, they'll like me. And there is some of that in keeping and building a great school. But, you have to have a sales process. And most of these people don't even have like a CRM. I mean, you know what a CRM is, like a contact regional, like a database, right? So everyone who calls you, everyone who comes in actually should go into that database. And now you have names, phone numbers, addresses, emails, contacts, social media accounts, everything. Why? Because you want to be able to contact them, and there's an actual sales process to this. Most of the gyms that I've worked with and tried to help, they don't even keep up with that.
They don't keep your email or anything. They just like,
they don't keep your email. They don't keep anything. If anything, maybe they have someone write down on a piece of paper, like their name and address and phone number, and hey, this is the waiver, sign the waiver. Most of them come up. If I ask, I guarantee you, if I went into most martial arts studios today and I asked for all the waivers, they couldn't get me all the waivers from the last month. They don't even know where they are. Right?
It's a stack of paper somewhere.
Yeah, it's a stack of paper somewhere, or it's in some drawer somewhere. But there's a sales process to this. Most people need to hear your pitch and see your marketing 6 times before they will take any action on it whatsoever. And also, a lot of martial arts centers act a little dumb. They think actually the students coming in are a little dumb, but buyers in any business these days have never been smarter than they are right now. They have looked you up on the website. They have seen if you had a podcast. They went to your Instagram. They know more about you than you ever will know about them in the 10 seconds that you're meeting. So you better be very grateful that whatever picture and story that you just put out to everyone on social media platforms or whatever platform you're using, that you've created a picture that they actually want to come see. Because
I'm on Reddit, and people will often ask about the academies before they step in the door, like, oh, is this gym good? Like,
yes, yeah. What is it, right? I mean, where I train, it's still a shark pit. It's still a slaughterhouse. I mean, you go in, but it's getting softer. I make fun of the new guys, which is crazy. I go in and train probably about 3 days a week, but I don't know anybody. I mean, not like I used to know people. I would say I know who they are, and I know people, and I'm friendly with people, but it's crazy. At 43, Alec, I'm the old guy now.
You used to be the young crazy guy.
I used to be young, right? And I'm 43, and now I'm training with guys that are 20s and 30s and stuff like that. But they're nobody that I started with. There is literally, I went to a night class the other night and sat against the wall talking after class and looking around. No one. There was no one there
that you came up with.
That I came up with. I was the only one sitting against the wall, and it's hurts the heart a little bit. But that's just how things go. But getting back to the business discussion. Why do you need to rotate in and out instructors? And I'll tell you this, is because, and you've seen this before, you got to protect yourself from being robbed. And instructors, sometimes they're good people and they're good at heart and they don't have any of this planned, but things just go bad, right? Things just drop out. And they build this network and they build this relationship with the students. Let's say, for example, you have the lunch class at 12 o'clock and you never trade in and out instructors. So it's just that same person over and over and over and over again. And if you're a business guy, you may not come in late at night and you may not want to come in early in the morning. So you come in on your lunch break, right? So you build this relationship with this person on and on. And you don't even know who owns the school. You don't even know who the head instructor is at night. You build all your relationship with this one person, and then that instructor gets sideways with the owner or the lead instructor or whatever it may be, and they leave. They go somewhere else, and you lose 40 students. You cannot allow in a martial arts setting in that business for cliques to be created. I mean, we saw that with things that used to irritate me just because I'm still kind of hardcore about training, but I was really hardcore a long time. I used to see like guys that were coming up, right? And this was a long time ago, but in the school, guys were coming up and they were good competitors and they were good this and that. And they would create these little cliques. You would have this competitor kind of sitting over in the corner with his like 5 or 6 guys, which I look at as like minions, right? They're like little minions. And they're over here with this guy, and it's, that look in their eyes like, oh, whatever this guy says is he's like God, right? And they don't even train with the rest of the class, right? Or the rest of the class starts training, then we go to roll, and they're like, oh, we don't roll right now. We're just going through whatever. We're just drilling. We're just going to, and I'm like, who the fuck died and made you God, right? Who said you could sit over there in the corner while the rest of us are in this, gladiator state, half killing each other? Who allows you to sit over there, right? That's just an example of something that just infuriates me to the core, right? And then, but is it also an example of how you create chasms in your school by allowing things like that to happen? Because then people start following something else and following this way, and before you know it, well, you don't really fit with how I'm going to train, so I'm going to follow this guy. Me and my minions are going to go over here, and you're going to lose like 10, 12, 13 guys because you allowed this to happen in school. And I've seen it in 20 years, 22 years now. I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, it's happened so many times. Like,
yes. I can't even name it. I mean, I'm not naming names and stuff like that. I'm just saying it happens, and it's not matter who did it. It's just that it's repetitive. So you have to stop that as a business owner. And then you have to get more creative. They're very rigid, or a lot of schools are very rigid about, okay, I'm gonna have a lunch class, and then I'm gonna have at night at 5 p.m. I'm gonna have a kids class, and at 6 p.m. I'm gonna have a intermediate. At 7 p.m. I'm gonna have and it's just like bah. It's like, because I don't want to work, right? I really don't want to be there that much. Who the can get your kids across town or through traffic at 5 p.m.?
Not in Atlanta. We can't. It's not possible.
I can't do it. I mean, the reason my kids didn't train when they were smaller is like, it would take me 45 minutes to get to somewhere at 5 p.m. I mean, it's insane. Why not rent a big enough space and split it up so you could actually have the kids train at the same time that the parents were training, and you could actually, in the like the gym industry, we call it collecting more wallet, right? So the wallet, everybody's got a wallet in their pocket. Well, for some reason, martial arts centers tend to believe their wallet is only the size of the monthly membership that this person pays. And that's not true. I mean, how many of these martial arts centers have you been in, and you walk in and someone's paying a monthly due, or you wouldn't be there, and then they got this little pro shop setting up to the far left or right? It's some t-shirts and there's some sweatshirts hanging up on the wall, but it's almost an afterthought, right?
Yeah, it's like it's like on one hanger, and just like, exactly,
looks like, yeah, it's over here to the side. It's kind of an afterthought. Nobody's really selling anything. It's just kind of sitting over there. I mean, so many times. I mean, I so many times talk to different people about their centers. They're like, well, what do you think I should do, Matt? What about the marketing? So we go through this big marketing pitch. But first, I talk about, you got to own more wallet. If you've got 200 students coming in and they're paying membership dues, that's wonderful. But if I've got 40 kids, then I've got the opportunity for 80 more in quasi terms. If I've got 40 kids, I've got an opportunity for 80 more members. 2 parents, right? 1 parent. But what I don't do is I don't give those parents an opportunity to train at the same time the kids are training. What do? I set them in the chairs by the window, and I've got all these, they're fumbling around with their phones, and I miss the big opportunity. And that's just so huge to me. And like, gyms do it better, like with like juice bars. They sell you protein, they sell you bars, they sell you any of these things, right? You have to think about every student in your building as a wallet or a business entity, right? If they're training jujitsu, they're probably taking a supplement. They're probably taking a multivitamin. They're probably taking some protein. They're probably taking, what are they buying because of this hobby, because of this feat that I can also sell to them?
I'm thinking tape, knee braces, just like everything you need, like nail clippers, just like anything to just
Yeah, it's available, right? No, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have any nail clippers you can borrow, but I got some that you can buy and
Yeah.
put in your bag, so you'll have it the next time, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to charge them out the yank, but all these things they don't think about for some reason in martial arts center. And it's because most of these centers are owned by some guy, usually it's a guy, who's pretty good at training and fell in love with it and thinks it's great, and then thinks, I want to make my life out of this, so I'm going to start a business. And in
Mm-hmm.
many cases, they have no business being a business owner.
No.
They should have just continued to teach and actually hired a real manager, right? But you know what the first thing they'll say? The first thing they'll say is, well, a real manager actually costs too much.
Yeah.
What if you paid a real manager $80,000 a year or $65,000 a year or $70,000 a year? If you do it right, that's just on payroll. That's a minimal scale. The problem is they don't want the owner, which is usually the teacher, who's usually was a student, doesn't want $1 of that money going out of his pocket because they can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, that
And
guy
they just
making $80,000 might bring in $800,000. Like,
exactly. If you actually had someone focused on doing what you as the business owner should be doing.
mm-hmm.
But what you're focusing on is, well, I got to teach a class at 12 o'clock and then I got to teach a class at 6 and 7. That's really where my value is. And I'm thinking to myself, no, it isn't. Your value is building your business. The problem with a lot of business owners is instead of working on their business, and this is a difference, I know it's not going to sound like much, but instead of working on their business, they work in their business.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. They're basically bought or created themselves a business. They bought themselves a job. They created a business and then they work as an employee within it. They actually don't hire employees to run their business and make them more money while they can expand their business from one site to 2 sites, or maybe even just make one site really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It just infuriates me. I mean, it doesn't infuriate. I mean,
it's the same problems. Like, 20 years ago is the same problems now. Like they're doing the same old
same
stuff.
thing. Well, because there's a lot of ego too, Alec.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these schools that are open, they were students under some other guy, right? And that guy probably didn't run the business very well either. So I don't know what they would learn from him, but they don't talk to each other, right?
No.
They don't talk amongst each other and try and again, they live in a world of scarcity. They believe if I tell this guy this, or if I learn something, he's going to steal my idea and then he's going to steal all my clients. Which the reality is, you're not competing with that gym that's 15 miles away. Mm-mm. You're competing with yourself. You're competing with your lack of efficiencies within your own business. You're competing with that soap dispenser in the bathroom that's had some kind of weird green shit in it for the last month and a half. And because you're so cheap, you haven't got anyone cleaning your school. So no one's even noticed the damn thing. But guess who's noticing? People with money, or people who are, in their 40s, or maybe got themselves, like myself, who've got myself more set, right? Mm-hmm. I notice all those little things. I notice, like, why am I paying this? Why am I paying X number of dollars? This is nasty. You can't afford to have someone in here cleaning up. Mm-hmm. Like, why not offer someone like me? I would pay more a month if someone would do some services for me,
like gi laundry and stuff like that.
Give me a little locker with my little name on it, a little turnstile lock like we had in high school, right? Hey, let me come in and train really hard in the morning and drop my gi off to you. And the manager or whoever's there in the middle of the day when there's nothing going on, put all those gis in the wash them up, fold them up, put them in my locker. Guess what? I'd pay for that service.
Yeah.
And it would cost that owner nothing, because he's already having to pay that guy to stand there anyway. He's paying him by the hour, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just some tidbits of things that I see happening wrong. Also, they, owning more share of wallet. What else can I think about? Something my teacher did a good job of was telling stories. and bringing you remember something and bringing us in on it, right? And sometimes I don't know, but it made you feel like you were part of something. Mm-hmm. And with my other business in medical, I travel a lot, so I go to a lot of different schools, and none of that happens. You don't feel like you're a part of anything in most of these places that I go to. You're just coming in, you're going through it, and then you're leaving, right? Most of these people, if you're a business owner in martial arts centers, you just have to understand that most of these people are not going to be MMA fighters, okay? And if they are MMA fighters, you're going to starve to death, because MMA fighters don't have any money. They're living in a closet somewhere or living with their folks somewhere because they're trying to get there, right? Mm-hmm. Those are not your people you're trying to focus on. You need to create almost like a family. In your martial arts center, people come in there because they want to feel a part of something. Yeah. Right? Especially men. Because we've noticed this too. We've got tons of friends that are ex-army, right? Ex-military, ex this, ex that. Why? They get out of the military and they're like, they lose it. It's not the jujitsu they're looking for. It's the camaraderie. It's the camaraderie of all those guys and feeling like they have a place to go and that they're a part of something. And so many schools don't do a good job. Don't really do a good job of that.
I think that's a lot of them, because they just see you as like, a dollar sign,
Yes. And they don't understand that in every business, if you focus on service, the quality, if you're selling a widget, right? If you're selling just something, if you focus on the quality, focus on how you service that person who's actually buying it from you, the money will come. Mm-hmm. If you focus on the money is a fleeting, it's like a leaf in the wind. If you chase it, you can chase it all over the place. But if you'll just stand still, leaves will just fall at your feet. And it's the same way in business. You have to focus on that product and what you're offering. And in many, many instances, martial arts centers are twofold. It is the product. You have to have a great teacher. But even more so important than the product is, what is your atmosphere? Do people feel comfortable there? Do they feel wanted there? Do they feel appreciated there? Mm-hmm. You have to do those things very, very well to be successful.
And I think a lot of schools, maybe they're up front, they're really inviting, but then like what happens 5-10 years later, like guys with like us, like do we feel invited? Do we feel like welcome to be there?
My school, I still feel invited. I enjoy the guys there, but it's not like it was. But I don't train like I did either. I'm not trying to get 2-a-days, and I miss how we used to train on Saturdays and go to lunch somewhere, and it would be 40 people. It was an all-day affair to go train jiu-jitsu on Saturday.
Your whole Saturday is gone.
You started at 10 a.m. and it ended like 4 sometime, right? I swear to God, it helped me get divorced the first time because I would Saturday, I'd kiss her on the forehead and say, "Hey, I'm going to go train jiu-jitsu." And she said, "Okay, I'll see you tonight." And she was right. It would be 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I'd come rolling in. I've been gone all day. Yes, it was just a little.
It's something I got to bring up is like, man, jiu-jitsu schools never started on time back in the day. It was just like impossible. Okay, 12, turned it to like 12:30, man. Like, what happened?
Dude, I'm older than you. So when I started training, lunch training was at 11 o'clock. So you could get finished by like 12:30 and be back to work by 1. That was it. But then, the teacher didn't show up till 11:30. And so we started showing up about 11:45, right? So because we knew we were going to get started and then it got pushed. Well, then the teacher was like, "Well, no one's showing up till like 12 o'clock." And we're like, "The reason we're showing up at 12 o'clock is because you're not showing up till, that time." And then it got pushed. Yeah, it goes from 12 and 12:30. I will say that my school now actually starts at 12.
All right.
Like almost on a dot, like starts at 12. And almost on the dot ends at 1 or 1:10. I can actually get my training in. But no, back in the day when me and you were there, oh my God. You couldn't even hardly have a job. because it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
During the week, 2 hours, like that's the longest lunch break in history. Like, how are you?
If I hadn't have been in sales, there's no I'd lost my job back when I was young, because you could not, if you were going into an office or something like that, actually do that. So pretty funny. I guess some of the last thing that I think about the jiu-jitsu or martial arts business, really doesn't matter. They don't leverage their business well enough. I see some guys trying to do it, but they don't understand all the things that they could leverage from their business. If I owned the center, I would do the things we've already talked about, but I also would do things like I would buy protein direct from the manufacturer and put my own name on it.
Is that black label or something? White label?
Yeah. Well, if you know anything, if you research supplements very much, you'll figure out that most of them all come from the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And so the stuff that you buy at GNC, that vanilla protein, if you bought the other 5 different kinds of vanilla protein, it's pretty much all going to be the same because it comes from the same place. I would market it. I would actually put my name on all of it, like the name of the school or the name of whatever business. I don't know what I would do there. Second tier, I would write down everything that I was doing in my business to make me successful. And then I would test all of it. But why would I write it down? Why would I write it down? Because I would sell it. At some point, I would package it up into hey, bring me in and help me set your business up for success. And I would sell that to other business owners. I haven't seen that done very well either, ever. Third, they don't use the internet very well. So ever. They've got massive opportunity in marketing with the internet, and they don't use it very well. They may post a video for Instagram or post a video for whatever, Facebook, whatever pot you want to use, but they don't make money from it, right? They should be selling things through, and here's what you will get, and then tease them out with something. And this is something we've been testing in our business. Pay whatever, if it's a subscription fee per month, they could be getting a little bit of business knowledge for the owner, as well as, hey, here's some instruction that we've been using. This is what works the best for whatever, white belts or blue belts. You want to keep your white belts longer? The silver bullet in this business would be figuring out how to keep a blue belt past 2 months after they got their blue belt, right? If you could figure out how to do that, you would have exponential more, you would just leverage the number of students that you could keep. And I think it actually goes back to the click. We don't do a good job of integrating that intermediate white belt, blue belt class, that starts for, we don't do a good job of integrating it in to, let's say, the adult class, right? Or the professional class that happens right after. Normally it happens right after it. We don't do a good job of integrating them in. So they almost have this mindset of it's us against them, or it's, who are those guys over there? Oh, those guys are all purple belts and brown belts. I'm a little afraid to get in there and roll with them. And yeah, you're going to get killed for a while. But I mean, when we started, there was no intermediate and advanced. It was just throwing a stake to a lion, right?
Go, survive.
Have fun for 6 months of just trying to defend yourself, right?
I remember going with the 20 something Matt Daniel as a white belt and getting crushed.
Oh, I love it. That's my whole game. It still is. It's pressure. If I can create enough pressure, you'll do something stupid, and then I'll get you. But it's that game that I still play, and I know it's tough on newbies, but
that's why they were quitting, Matt. They're like,
that's why they're quitting, maybe. So if we could figure out as a family, as a group in general, how to integrate these blue belts, intermediate, into the advanced class, even slowly, introduce them to, because I mean, I got blue belts, I'm going in, changing clothes, and they're coming off the mat, right? They're coming off the mat to change clothes, and I'm in there changing clothes, and they won't even look at me, right? I look at them and they see the black belt and they're like, oh my God. I mean, it's like all a black belt is a white belt that didn't quit. right? That's all they are. I mean, and you'll agree with me, there's black belts, but then there's world-class black belts. And then there's people even over those world-class black belts. There's a huge chasm in between just someone walking around with a black belt and someone who's, a Lucas Lepre or a Cabrinha or, you name them. It's mountains, of length between us. So we need to figure out how to do that, because I want more people training longer, right? I think it's good. It's not just, oh, I'm a tough guy. There is nothing in this life. I've been through 2 divorces, and there is nothing in this life that's been with me but jiu-jitsu. Friends have come and gone. I still have great friends and acquaintances, but jiu-jitsu has always been that constant. And like mental, yes, I gained something from it physically. It keeps me in shape. Yes. But the mental aspect of just the stress for someone who, I enjoy business. So I do a lot of different things, but the stress that comes from that, I mean, I can go train jiu-jitsu, and then after the 5 rounds at 7 minutes or whatever we're training at the time, and I'm setting up against the wall, I can feel like pressure lifting off the top of my head. And I think it would be it would be so beneficial for a lot more people, especially older guys, if we could just figure out how to keep them after, that blue belt time period.
I think having conversations like this helps, right, because it can reach so many people.
Yes. And I've been watching your podcast, so you've been doing a really good job.
And this started because I did an interview. One of my friends was like, roasting me. He's like, you suck at interviewing. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take my time and actually put some effort into this. So that's been fun.
Well, it's a great avenue long form conversation, right? We don't get a lot of that. We watch TV, we get these, even the news, we get these short snippets of like 5 seconds and 10 seconds of the, whatever is bleeding or blowing up. Basically, that's what we see. This long form conversation is very important because you actually get to understand what the person is about, instead of only, hearing the, some snippet of some conversation that was 15 or 20 seconds long. It's just not long enough. But, I want jiu-jitsu to grow. I want martial arts centers to do better. I wouldn't be against owning one at some point. But the others better watch out, because I got a list of ideas that would
take it over everybody.
I don't know. I think I don't want to live in the world of scarcity. I believe there's enough for everyone. I believe there's more than enough. We just don't have right now, a lot of centers don't have a lot of understanding and background, and they would do better just to go work at a gym for a while, right? If they went and worked at like Gold's Gym has a great train, and I worked at a Gold's Gym when I was 18 through 21, and I was doing all the hiring and firing, all the training of the salespeople by the time I was almost 20, like 19 and a half. But they sent me, those owners were good people. They sent me to all these different types of training, and Gold's Gym had great training at that point in time, teaching you how to set up sales structures and sales processes, questions to ask, open-ended questions, basic sales skills that I would say 90% of these martial arts centers that we know have no clue. They don't know what an open-ended question is. If I ask them, what's your best open-ended question that you ask to a prospect when they enter in your gym or your center, their eyes would glaze over. They don't know what questions. Oh, we ask questions. We don't just turn the thing. No.
Hey, sign up, brother. Just
hey, you want to sign up? Here it is. It's $200 a month. This is a deal. This
man, the worst sales I saw was like the guy's like, man, we'll fuck up your credit, man. And then I saw that. I was like, well, that did go through.
That didn't go very well. No, so basic, who, what, when, where, why, how questions, right? Which you as an interviewer, you're doing a good job asking those questions, but that needs to be in our vocabulary. Understanding how to negotiate with people. More importantly, genuinely caring about the person in front of you and why they're standing there in front of you. It is so often, even if the center, I've been in some centers, and even if they do a tour, right? They take them around and show them some pictures. They show them like the showers, restrooms, and stuff where they would be, hope to God it's clean. Most of the time it's not. They don't ask the question, what brought you in today? What's your main goal? It's probably not so I can kick my brother's ass or something like that. It's probably, I want to lose some weight and I just really don't like going to the gym and lifting weights, or, maybe it's a real lonely guy or seems to be like a lonely person and they just want to be a part of something. And they know that, and that's what they're looking for. You've got to be genuinely interested and caring about that person in front of you. And the same thing happens in social media too. And this is where I see a huge problem with, and I know it's happened in martial arts centers too, is I'm a business guy. Don't call me in the middle of the day from the martial arts center on my telephone and ask me, hey, Matt, where you been? I'd rather get a call later in the evening. Okay. I know that I'm not training 5 days a week, guys, but I'm getting in about 2 days a week. Now, sometimes I don't pull the card or do all this stuff you want me to do. So you think I'm not coming in, but I'm coming in. You need to be where I am. And that's what martial arts centers need to be. They need to be on Facebook. They need to be on Instagram or LinkedIn too. A lot of your, like the business people that actually got a little cash that probably could help you out in like your 7 a.m. mornings where you could have an executive class. They're on LinkedIn. They're not wasting their damn time talking about who's in the White House on Facebook. No. They ain't got time for that shit. They got stuff to pay, right? They got bills to pay, got things to do. You got to get on LinkedIn. And what I see people doing wrong on social media platforms, and you can just pick your poison, they're not genuine about the conversation they're trying to have with me. If someone tries to connect with me on LinkedIn right now, I promise you, Alec, within 5 minutes of me connecting, I'll connect with you. They're trying to sell me something. They didn't even introduce themselves. They didn't even tell, who are you? What are you doing? They didn't ask. The point of social media in the beginning was that we could connect with people and build our network, right? But you still have to have a genuine conversation and an understanding and an interest in the person you're connecting with. We don't do a good job of that either in martial arts center. We want to post a video of, what we did in class today at 12 p.m. That's not going to connect with me.
I mean, there's so much creativity and freedom. It's like you can, I think a lot of instructors need to, or owners need to experiment,
Yeah.
Experiment.
Well, and test.
Yeah,
test it. Oh, this didn't work. Let's cross this out. Let's try it a different way, right? Causing, kind of trial and error. You don't see a lot of that.
Something that I did, like just real fast, something that I did when I was kind of in charge of like social media for a school was just do like a little story and you kind of show everybody kind of doing the technique, because people, they want to see themselves. Oh, that's me. I was in the video, just something simple like that.
Yes. No, I agree. And it's got to change, right? It's got to change at least weekly, I would think. Often I see the videos from different schools and I'm like, well, it looks exactly like it did last week. It doesn't hold my attention, right? And I don't see that person. I would like to see the person teaching the technique or the person on bottom, something funny, like, the top guy on top's crushing him, right? So I want to see his face remain. And then I want to see the guy kind of talking to the camera when he gets up. And it's like telling me, this is who I am. This is what we do. Love to see you come in. You don't see a lot of that. You see a lot of, especially when I see
just like,
it's like, or this one, right? Don't you love that one? They got their arm around each other. They got their arm around each other and they're pointing at each other like, no, I'm not the man, he's the man. And it's like constant. And I'm thinking we have to be more original. We're not reaching the people we want to reach. Yeah, and you're right. You don't want a shirtless picture. Think about how many ladies you are turning off from coming to your school when you're standing there. And some guys would argue and go, well, there's ladies coming in because there's, great looking guys in shape. That will be the minority, guys.
Yeah, that's minority.
Just say it. Yeah, that's the minority. The ladies want to feel comfortable. They want to feel safe. They want to feel like it's almost a family team environment where they're respected. And we don't do a really good job of that. I mean, schools who have a large female population, I applaud them because they've done something correct, because most of them do not, right? Because too much machismo, too much big egos, too much, like you said, shirtless pictures and Neanderthals at the doors, right? And I mean, as a business owner, if I was to ever own one, you well better watch yourself around my ladies, because the women are going to bring their friends more so than the men are going to bring their friends, and the women are going to spend more money too. They're going to buy gis, they're going to buy t-shirts, they're going to buy this, they're going to buy protein. So if you're a Neanderthal and you've got the word out in the school is, you're hitting on this lady and you're making a bunch of people feel comfortable, you're gone. I mean, I reserve the right to throw you out on your ass or on your head, whichever one you land on first, because I don't care. Because one Neanderthal in your gym will destroy your opportunity at, I would say, it's countless. It's countless, because one lady gets a bad interaction with some dude like that. They go and they tell their friends aren't coming in. She probably doesn't come back, or she doesn't like coming back. She's damn sure not going to tell her best friend or someone she cares about to come in. It's just bad. And, me and you could have personal conversations. How many terrible things that we've seen.
Jesus.
With
that's for another podcast, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole nother
things not to do at your jiu-jitsu school.
No, and they know it's going on. That's what kills me, is most of the owners know it's going on, right?
Hey, most of the owners are doing it. They're the ones doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it. Or the reflection you get from the person is like, oh, that's just a real crazy guy. And I'm like, no, that needs to be in prison, or at least bounced out of your school immediately, because he's hurting your business daily. And it's like they don't get it. It's like, oh, but I'll lose him. What, you'll lose $100 a month or whatever he's paying you? You're going to lose 10 times that in what he chases out of the school. I mean, and I feel bad for those guys, because a lot of those guys have no other home, because they've run themselves out of all the other homes, right?
Out of every place
they go. But that's not, I'm sorry, I'm not your counselor, I'm not your psychologist. I'm here to run a business, and you're hurting my business. You got to go. And owners don't do enough of that. Or like you said, it is the owner himself. What else you want to talk about?
I think that's good, Matt. I think we hit some good topics, man. And like I said, I don't want to I don't want to be that guy that keeps you on. You're like, I'm tired of talking.
No, I've got some stuff I got to do today. So that's good. I got about 15 minutes, but it's great talking with you, Alec.
Yeah, man, Matt. It's great seeing you.
Anytime I want my ass whooped, I'll come look you up and try to grapple with you. Okay.
Hey, you always give it back. Whatever I give, this shot, you give it back to me.
I try, but I'm getting older. It's getting a little harder to do it the way I used to do it, but that's fine. Enjoy the conversation.
Yeah, Matt. All right, I'm gonna let you go.
All right, man. Take care.
Thank you.